Okay, imagine for just a second that your digital tools suddenly woke up. Like, what actually happens when AI stops just politely answering your questions and starts doing the actual work autonomously? Because we are standing at the edge of a massive, massive shift right now. We're moving from the era of passive AI chatbots, the ones just waiting around for your text prompt, to this new era of active, always-on agents that do the heavy lifting for you in the background. It's basically a fundamental rewiring of how we interact with technology.
Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this, because the technological leap Google announced at I/O 2026 is truly staggering. Today, we're going to unpack this whole agentic AI era and really focus on the sheer scale and capability of Google's newest release, Gemini Omni. We'll be exploring how this tech is fundamentally transforming everything, from your daily productivity and video production, all the way up to massive global enterprise operations.
Section 1. The Multimodal Revolution. So, to truly grasp what's going on here, you kind of have to understand that the old era of stitched-together Frankenstein AI, it's officially over. We're looking at the total collapse of the traditional media stack. See, previously, Google ran these separate siloed pipelines. You had VO for video, Imagen for pictures, entirely different models for audio and text, and if you wanted them to work together, you had to manually stitch them up. Well, Gemini Omni changes all of that. It's one natively multimodal model that processes everything simultaneously. The understanding and the generation are happening inside the exact same set of weights. You can literally throw text, audio, images, and video into the model all at once, and it reasons across all of them to give you a unified, consistent output. It's not just some video generator bolted onto a text model. It's a true world model that actually understands physics, causality, and context. But look, having a great model is really only half the battle, right? 2 billion. That is the number of daily users Google reaches. While everyone else out there is arguing over which model has the absolute highest benchmark score on a spreadsheet, Google's real, undeniable advantage is distribution. Gemini Omni isn't just a standalone website you have to go search for. It's shipping directly inside Google Search, YouTube, Google Flow, and the Gemini app. It's being placed right into the hands of 2 billion people instantly. There is simply no other company that has that kind of full-stack leverage. And here's what that distribution actually means out in the real world. Just look at these new video economics. Take a local restaurant owner who normally would pay a videographer $500 for a simple seasonal menu announcement. Well, using Gemini Omni's conversational multi-turn video editing, that same owner can produce a comparable result in 20 minutes for less than $20 in compute costs. And every edit builds on the last, so you maintain character identity and scene consistency. When you multiply that level of disruption across millions of small businesses, you're looking at one of the largest economic shifts in modern digital production.
Section 2. Your 24/7 personal agent. Okay, so we've talked about how Omni is revolutionizing consumer media, but this agentic era is about so much more than just generating videos. It's really about your personal productivity. Let's meet Gemini Spark. So the crucial point here is that Spark shifts AI from being a simple reactive assistant to an active autonomous partner. Powered by what Google calls the anti-gravity harness, Spark is a cloud-based agent that runs 24/7. It doesn't even need your laptop to be opened. It just lives in the background, securely connected to workspace apps like Gmail, Docs, your third-party tools, and it's just ready to take complex, multi-step tasks entirely off your plate. Let's walk through exactly how a Spark workflow handles something tedious, like IT or project management. Say you have this recurring system issue. Step 1. Spark jumps in and parses your emails and ServiceNow tickets to identify the recurring problem. Step 2. It automatically cross-references your Jira tickets in Google Docs for context, and can even suggest code changes with anti-gravity. Step 3. It drafts up a comprehensive incident report and a stakeholder email update. And here's the absolutely vital security layer. It pauses right there. It requires your explicit approval for high-risk actions, like actually hitting send on that email. So it does 90% of the grueling prep work, but leaves you in complete control of the final 10%. All right, Section 3, fine-tuning the future. As we shift the narrative from personal productivity over to massive enterprise scale, we run into a bit of a challenge. General intelligence, the kind that writes a fun poem or summarizes a blog post, that just isn't enough for specialized high-stakes industries like healthcare, legal, or manufacturing. They need specialists. And this is where this incredibly powerful concept comes in, parameter-efficient fine-tuning, or PEFT for short. I absolutely love this because it solves such a massive problem. Normally, retraining a giant AI model from scratch
costs an absolute fortune. But PEFT, it's a brilliant shortcut. It freezes most of the original model and only updates a tiny, highly targeted subset of parameters using a company's own specific data. So it's this incredibly cost-effective, resource-friendly way to take a general AI and give it a masterclass in highly complex, domain-specific jargon. It transforms it into an absolute industry expert without breaking the bank.
And when developers apply this fine-tuning, they actually have a choice to make based on the specific job. Do you need to analyze incredibly complex healthcare compliance docs or deep legal due diligence? Well, you'd use Gemini 1.5 Pro for that heavy reasoning. But if you need to power a real-time customer service voice agent or quickly generate thousands of product descriptions, you use Gemini 1.5 Flash, which is hyper-optimized for speed and cost efficiency.
Section 4. Real-world enterprise agents. So we've covered the theory and the architecture. Now, what does this actually look like when it hits the ground in massive companies? And this brilliantly illustrates the power of grounded AI. Look at the shop floor copilot use case developed by Evidence for Manufacturing. Imagine a junior technician facing a broken, complex machine, and the senior expert is off shift. Instead of digging through some dusty paper manual, the tech just snaps a photo of the rusted valve with a tablet. Gemini, which has been fine-tuned and securely grounded in that specific factory's technical manuals and historical repair logs, instantly looks at the picture, reads the logs, and spits out step-by-step repair instructions natively. It literally elevates a junior tech to perform at the level of a senior expert on day one. Imagine how drastically that reduces repair downtime.
And that kind of efficiency, it scales up fast. 10,000. That is the massive number of man-hours per year that Toyota reduced by implementing Google Cloud's AI infrastructure, enabling their factory workers to develop and deploy machine learning models.
And the scale of these deployments is truly mind-bending. Uber is using these agents to summarize user communications so their frontline reps can act way faster. Home Depot launched the Magic Apron agent to navigate incredibly complex home improvement projects for their customers in real time. And Cirque, a Brazilian financial infrastructure company, they're using this tech to process a staggering 100,000 financial transactions per second. So, to be clear, these aren't just fun little side experiments. These are mission-critical agents running the global economy right now.
And it is completely changing how we discover information online, too. A staggering 85% of informational queries on Google now feature AI overviews, compared to just 15% traditional links. The Gemini integration is actively mapping out semantic relationships between topics, changing the very fabric of internet discovery.
Section 5. The economics and safety of AI.
So with an ecosystem this powerful and pervasive, how does Google actually plan to safely monetize and protect it all? Well, they've built a business model that scales seamlessly from the individual all the way up to the Fortune 500. It starts with direct consumer subscriptions like Google AI Ultra for power users. Then it scales up to enterprise Google Workspace upgrades, which gives entire offices those agent tech capabilities. And finally, for the massive developers and enterprises we were just talking about, it monetizes through a pay-as-you-go cloud API token consumption model on Google Cloud. It's an incredibly diverse and, let's be honest, lucrative revenue stream.
But managing that kind of massive scale requires really strict control over resources. 10 seconds. Right now, Gemini Omni Flash video clips are capped at exactly 10 seconds. And this isn't because the model lacks the capability to generate longer videos. No way. It is purely a compute management decision. Generating high-resolution, multimodal video is intensely resource-heavy, and capping the length is simply how Google ensures they can widen access to millions of users without completely crashing the system. Of course, with the ability to generate hyper-realistic video comes an immense responsibility regarding deepfakes and misinformation. So let's look at how Google handles this natively within the Omni model. Every single output features dual provenance protection. Step 1 is Synth ID. This is an invisible watermark embedded directly into the pixels themselves during generation, and it's designed to survive cropping and filtering. Step 2 is C2PA, which attaches signed cryptographic content credentials directly to the file's metadata. The ambition behind all of this is just vast. As Google DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis put it, Omni is a crucial step toward AGI, outputting anything the user wanted. They aren't just building a clever video editor or a fancy email drafter here. They are building a true world model that understands the physical and digital universe well enough to actually act within it on our behalf.
It is an absolutely incredible time to be watching this technology unfold. As AI officially shifts from being a passive answering machine to an active, autonomous doer, it really begs a very personal question for all of us. What tasks will you delegate to your agent tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start looking at your own daily workflows and asking yourself, what can I hand over to the agents? I'll see you next time.